Vegas, bet it all. Put it on the Bucs win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all. Loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start. Bucs come in 40 hard. Win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats. Falcons got bird flu. Take the Ravens and Dolphins and open up a zoo. Cause one thing's for sure, better than the Bucs, they show lane. And every day in Tampa Bay, we say fuck the Saints. We in Tampa Bay, baby. 813 going crazy. Tampa, boy. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons blasting on them haters. And we in Tampa Bay, baby. Tell them where you from. 813 going crazy. Yeah. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons blasting on them haters. Now when I say the loose cannons, what? Do you know what I mean? I'm talking Bobby Latte, Stank Bastard, and Samurai Lee. You ain't never seen no hurt before, no podcast like this. These boys that entertain you, then take you on road trips, go to other cities, raid and pillage, watch Bucs kick ass. If we in the stands and fans talk shit, we gon' whoop them fans. You'll see us in the red and pewter, with the white and black, might be high, drunk as fuck. Straight talking smack if it's a home game. Best believe you gon' hear this chant. It be like Buccaneers. Buccaneers. One more time. Buccaneers. We in Tampa Bay, baby.
What is up, Bucs Nation? It is Monday, January 5th, 2026. The first episode of the Loose Cannons podcast of the year 2026. I am your boy, the Samurai Lee. Hanging out with my barefoot, tracing paper skinned, Slim Jim smoking stepbrother, not from another mother, Stank Bastard. As always, make sure you guys hit the like button, leave us a comment, and hit that subscribe button if you're new on the way out. At the end of this fabulous show, that will probably be more shenanigans than actual facts or, anything worth a damn. But that's what makes it so fucking good. And don't forget to check us out on loosecannonslive.com, where you can watch, listen to any one of our episodes, or join our free Bucs community Discord. And as always, if you have to absolutely listen because you just can't stand to look at my beautiful face, then you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and more importantly, Pornhub.com. Stank, the Bucs finally won a game.
Have you ever been fact-checked by Greg Allman before? Like, just out of the blue?
No, I usually go to him as a well of resources. Unlike you, he likes me, which is kind of odd because you kind of look like you might be a kid of his, possibly. But you are just about his age. But I was going to say, Stank, the Bucs won a game.
They did.
For no reason at all. Literally. Nothing to gain. I wanted them to win, but they ended up losing the division as the Falcons managed to beat the extremely hapless New Orleans Saints. And therefore the Bucs
I called this whole thing.
Oh, we knew it was going to happen. We knew how it was going to play out.
I called the Rams beating the Falcons beating the Rams. I called it all. They played out exactly the way my internal fear right down there in the taint. Okay. It told me, my taint told me what was going to happen. And it played out exactly the way I thought it was. Complete and utter disappointment. Yeah. Suffering, all of it. Maximized it to the
yeah. This is a weird. So like in other seasons, even when things were just going terribly, you like, God, you had, I don't know, there's something where like, you had an attachment to the season, right? Even when John Gruden, you were 9-2. Oh shit, we just need one more win. And there's just like this load of frustration and anger attached to it. It takes you a little bit of time to get over the season, right? You needed a month or so. And then you kind of could finally think about it with a clear head. This is the first season ever where I just took this massive sigh of relief and I was like, thank God it's over. It's finally like it's over. It just felt like just death by a million fucking stabs of the eye with like a little paper clip or something, just over and over and over and until you finally, like it was finally over. I stood in that stadium took a deep breath and I said, let's get the fuck out of here. Like, it was finally done, Stank. Finally. Yeah, I'm glad the season is over. I think Bucs players are glad the season is over. I think Bucs coaches are glad the season is over. And I don't say that from a injury rehab standpoint. I just think it's been a heavy year. There's a lot of shit I think that's going to come out here in the next couple of months. A lot of shit went on behind the scenes with coaches and injuries and struggles of there's all that's been heavy. You could feel it on these guys when you talk to them, when you see their body language, post-game pressers, like holy shit, like they're taking that same sigh of relief and thinking, let's just wash this away. And there's some stuff that's going to have to come. Some decisions going to be coming up here soon.
Yeah, I had to dig deep to try to remember the last time I've been this frustrated. The Jameis years were frustrating, but
it was expected frustration.
Never expected that team. It never looked like they were a contender. There were other teams in our division that were dominant at that time. It wasn't the same. This, like you said, left me with the weirdest fucking set of blue balls I've had since I was a teenager. Honestly, I just don't know what to do with the feeling I have inside. So it's probably going to take me a little while to overcome this, weeks, maybe months. I don't know how to get it out of my system. Just don't. And I thought, maybe we'd hear some surprise news today. And it's just kind of like, hurry up and wait. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just like everybody else. I have no clue.
I was thinking about this last night. I think the Glazers just seem to take their time, and they have a legitimate exit strategy, not exit strategy, but like an exit interview strategy that they go through every year. And even when they fired Tony Dungy, when they fired Raheem Morris, when they fired all these guys, John Gruden, it didn't happen the very next day. If I remember correctly, Greg Schiano is the only coach that I remember being fired the very next day. I think the Lovie Smith news took a little bit of time because they upgraded, they took Dirk Cutter and made him the head coach, but they don't seem to do the, like yesterday, Raheem Morris won his 4th straight game as the Atlanta Falcons head coach. And a mere hours later, after he was hugging the ownership on the way out of the stadium, they fired him. Like they announced it, right? Like they couldn't wait to fire him. And
he
then
knew it was coming though. You could tell by how quickly he was like telling everybody bye. Like he couldn't wait to get the fuck out.
But
of that
that's
room.
crazy though. The guy that just won 4 games. So like I understand the precedence there, but like other teams wait till Monday. And other teams, you kind of see the Bucs seem to be the team that takes their time. It looks like they haven't even met with Todd yet to discuss things. So, but before we dive into that, I do want to talk to you a little bit about the game, and just how it played out, and end up losing the division on top of that. It just, again, it was just like everything we hated about the Bucs season, especially down the stretch, all played out again in front of us in that game. A microcosm of the entire season, yet again, on the very final Saturday, I guess you could say, of our season. Just frustrating all around. Like that game still could have been a 35-3 ass whooping, and it just was not for no reason at all.
No, the whole Parrish pick and everything that happened after that I still can't understand what your thought process is there. Yes, we won the game. It didn't fucking matter at the end. It never felt like it was going to matter. Even after the game, it was like, our fans in our stadium chanting, Saints fuckery and things like that. Like all of it felt extremely wrong. Like I told you before, like I feel like I'm in the upside down. None of it feels right.
Yeah,
it feels wrong. I want to wash it off of me somehow.
But the thing is, man, like I tweeted this after the game that we won the game. After like we have nobody to blame as a team. There's nobody to blame but the Bucs themselves. Like I said, they had 7 chances to make this right. They had 7 opportunities. And to come in and say the shit that they said leading into the game, and then after the game, I guess we're gonna be Saints fans now. And I get the fucking funny commentary behind it and all that kind of shit. But like, we shouldn't have even been in that position.
That rubbed me the wrong way too.
I didn't like that shit.
That locker room was way too
okay with just hoping someone else gets them in for them.
Yes, absolutely.
Unnecessary.
We never felt the anger and the desperation from this team. And they want to talk about how good the culture in the locker room is. Yeah, maybe it's too comfortable. And that's the problem. They're too comfortable. Nobody's scared to lose their job. Nobody's scared. There's just like being a parent. Like your kids need to have a healthy fear of you. There needs to be fear of consequence. And there doesn't seem to be fear of consequences in that locker room. You don't have to be Greg Schiano and run it with the iron fist, because that doesn't work either. They are grown men. They are adults. all those things. But the coaches aren't being held accountable. The players aren't necessarily being held accountable, and that's why they're so comfortable.
So,
right? We've been able to get away with mediocrity and win our division, and they've just kind of stayed in that pocket of comfort this whole time. You know, and it's still almost, you know, benefited us at the end, if not for, you know, the Saints.
They didn't deserve it. They didn't deserve it.
They
So
deserve
that's
it, exactly. They really
that's
did.
the thing. Like, when a team deserves it, sometimes things work out. But like, the problem with the team, in my opinion, is that when BA was here, he had assholes and he was an asshole. But he's the one who kind of instilled this. I'm going to let the locker room police itself, because that's how you build real accountability. You let the guys who are leaders have to, like, kind of, you know, create that healthy fear. And then if, as a head coach, you still have to also do your part. Todd Bowles takes over. Some of that carries over with JPP and Shaq for a little bit of time. And then as the team starts to change over to these younger guys, there's not enough of an asshole presence. You needed Warren Sapp. Like, Rondé Barber is Rondé fucking Barber. And he said, I believe on the Pewter Report podcast, he said something along the lines of, I was afraid of 99. Every day. I was afraid to go in that locker room and have him tell me I did something wrong, because they watched film as a group, that whole defensive side of the ball. And that was like, they were afraid of 99, what he was going to say. They weren't afraid of Derek Brooks, 99. So the team doesn't have that already. And then on top of that, you have Todd Bowles, who's depending on the locker room to police itself in that manner, but you don't have a guy like that who does that. And then you have the head coach, who, although he is actually a hard ass on these guys behind closed doors, he's not even a hard ass on his own coaching staff. So there's no accountability to those guys. He's not really holding himself accountable and saying, you know what, this is happening week in and week out. I got to change something. Maybe I got to simplify the defense. Maybe I got to do something differently. Okay. And so that all trickles down. They're like, first of all, no one's telling me I got to do my job better. Head coach ain't even firing another coach who's a fucking joke. We're going out there pretending that we believe that Josh Gazard's plays are actually going to work. And the guy who's supposed to be his boss sees that happening. He hasn't made a change. So why would they have to police themselves beyond just showing up? And that's what happened. This team just showed up. And what I tell you in the stands, Stank, this team doesn't look like they have any guys that hate to lose, or enough guys that hate to lose more than they love to win. It looks like a collection of guys who love to win, but it might be okay if they lose, because they fucking clearly don't hate it. As of the last 9 games of the season, you could tell not enough guys hate to lose. Baker hates to lose. Mike Evans hates to lose. Chris Godwin hates to lose. And Levante. Other than that, really, I mean, I'm not going to even lump in the younger guys. They all have a healthy, just go get after it, young puppy kind of mentality. But other than that, it's just a collection of guys that are just, hopefully, you know, we'd love to win. Yeah. It don't feel like they hate losing at all.
I think it's where some of the frustration comes from, because, you know, outside of seeing Mike after the collapse against Atlanta, we haven't seen a whole lot of emotion out. You know, Baker can be a little bit gruff after games, but, you know, even him, like, nobody's really showing it. They all tried to keep that calm during the season. I just didn't see that translate into, I want to rip their heads off on the other side of the ball. If anything, we gradually got softer and softer and softer. They looked less and less like they wanted to be there, you know, and having some insight into that locker room, you know, hearing some of the stuff that was coming out of that locker room from players who were in that locker room, none of it sounded good to me. None of it.
And just, on top of that, Stank, you got your head coach calling plays in hopes of just not losing.
Yeah.
Calling plays to not lose. Getting the ball before halftime with just under 2 minutes and deciding, you know what? I'm just going to run the ball and just... Teams wish to get the ball before half, to double up. Whether you get the ball out of halftime or not.
They do it against us all the time.
Yeah, you want to get the ball back. Even if you just get 3 out of it, you're trying to score a touchdown. Whether you get the ball back after half or not, that it doesn't matter. But the mentality right then and there was, let's waste as much clock as possible and maybe get a shot at a field goal. It didn't matter. I was like, but if you go in attack and you get 7, you just dig a deeper hole for the opposing team. Who cares about the time? I get the fear of letting the team walk down the field because it's happened time and time again. But that right there, that's the mentality that this team has to fucking watch. And there's no player in any sport that sits on the sideline, watches their coach in a manner that isn't aggressive and trying to fucking win the game with your balls on the fucking table, that can just sit there and watch that and not eventually take on that same mentality. That's the problem. That's the problem. Are we getting visited by a baby? Oh, it's Latte.
What the?
Why isn't he on the show?
Why is he?
Hold up.
What?
Hold up.
Holy smokes!
Oh, dude, I was like, I'm sure these other podcasts.
I don't know what is happening right now.
Can I read the super chat real quick?
Right now, boys.
What's up, Latte?
What the hell?
Latte.
What the hell?
What in
Who's
the
on
hell?
here? I can't. Who's talking to me?
Don't worry about that. Just an intern.
Oh, it's an intern Izzy. What's up, bro?
You're not sitting centered, man. I can't let you just do that.
I'm not sitting centered. Where is it?
Yeah.
Is it here centered? I'm sorry.
There you are.
All right. Okay. Well, this way.
There you go. There you go.
Boom.
There we go. Never talk. See that?
What's up, boys?
Professional. See that? See that, guys?
He's like, you're not right.
See how fast I got centered?
Yeah,
Did
that
you
didn't
see
take no
that?
nothing. And I told you because I know you hold yourself the same standard I hold myself to.
So this is a
Right?
professional program. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Michael
I
Jordan,
don't know what's
Scottie
going on.
Pippen, like those guys knew. Look at that behind you.
It's kind of weird, bro. It's like I'm looking here because I know I should be looking here, but I feel like like if I was intern Izzy, it'd be like a superpower. I could still look here.
Intern could look both ways, 100%. Intern could look at the show screen while also looking at the camera.
Oh,
I just talk to the camera because I've got my little lens on facing me. I just see myself the whole time. So I'm just talking to myself. I don't even really know if Stank K has anything to say most of the time. You know that. The show's mostly me beating his ass the whole entire fucking hour.
Pretty much. Listen, I'm just gonna say it. For at least another 30 days, I'm under contractual obligation. I cannot talk about the team, so I'm not going to. At least in a negative fashion. So you can say whatever you want, Sammer. I respect it, but I'm not going to give my opinion until later, if that's fair. You guys got to understand that. I mean, I got to walk in the building.
Yeah, man. Do your thing, dude.
But I
what
miss
do
you guys.
Any updates on UPS? You want to share? Anybody at UPS that you think should be fired, or maybe an offensive coordinator there should lose his job?
I would start with the guy on top. You know, the head honcho. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's time for a fresh start. If you know what I mean.
I think his name. I think the head honcho over at UPS is Tom Scholes, right?
It is. Yes, the CEO's name is not that, but like the person underneath.
Yeah,
that
Tom Scholes.
confirmed.
Tom Scholes,
Confirmed.
and yeah,
Confirmed.
he needs to basically get rid of his coordinator, I guess, coordinator of scheduling.
Well, yeah, it's logistics. We call it logistics, but it is coordination. It is coordinating things, right?
John Blizzard, right? That's his name.
Yeah, that's about. I think that sounds about correct. I got to look. You know, listen, these guys are way above my pay grade, but yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, they really do need to do something about Tom Scholes, and more importantly, John Blizzard for sure.
Yeah.
Who would you want to
689
see?
Says, Latte in the stank ass shed. Yes, this place sucks. Listen, I'm used to like air conditioning and like a proper chair.
How
and,
bad
like,
does it smell
I can
in
actually
there?
hear you guys. It smells like shit. Like
He's got a
I'm
weird
not-
leather couch in there that was once rained on, so I can
Very
imagine
weird.
that it smells
Very weird.
pretty weird back there.
Very weird.
Yeah.
What were you going to say? You were going to say what do I want, or what are you looking? What were you going to say there? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I was going to say, who would you? Who do you want to get rid of more? Tom Scholes or John Blizzard?
But I think it's time for a reset all around. Just a complete reset. If you want my, honest opinion of what UPS should be doing moving forward to improve the company and just get a positive message out there. A message is not stale. If that makes sense. Right?
What about Clayson Pike? You don't mean that kind of reset. You don't want to go up top to Clayson Pike.
No. Let's not get crazy now, right? Like,
okay. I'm making sure because you said complete rebuild or reset.
No.
No.
From a boots on the ground staff, type thing, right? The head, the UPS. Listen, the stock's never been higher. Yeah, I don't think you want to get rid of that guy. That guy's fine. Guy's doing his job.
I agree with you. By the way, that's yeah. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you got to get those boxes delivered, right? And that's the only way you can do it is if you got the right people.
100%. And listen, somebody back there said, "Where's my white Mike Evans cream skull?" I don't fucking know. Okay, I'm not in charge of that. All right, I deliver my shit. I deliver my area. It's not my job to go do other guys' deliveries, right? And that's what's wrong in some other areas. I'll just leave it like that. Too many guys thinking about themselves.
I like that. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying.
A lot of selfishness, never good in any business.
Feels good to be back, even in the UPS uniform.
Figure your shit out. 30 days from now, get back in the fucking seat, man. I'm sitting here talking football myself every week. You know that, right?
Yeah,
I did a show without Stank last time, and it was as if no one even realized Stank wasn't on the show.
Probably the best show of the season. Besides
a lot of people
the
said
ones that I was on.
A lot of people said you should be doing this daily. That's what I heard.
Wow.
We did have Mike Evans on the podcast, by the way, too. So yeah. Any news, by the way, with the Bucs? I haven't been on my phone. If you guys want to say a little prayer, my business partner Bozio's son is in the hospital right now. He had to get a little slight brain surgery, so he's doing well. He's recovering, but that's why I stopped on the way here to Stanker's house. Any news?
Bucs wise, no, nothing has happened.
Nothing.
Nothing's happened.
I saw that press conference. What were your thoughts on that press conference, Samer? I can ask you questions. Maybe I can't answer some, but what were your thoughts on that? Because yeah.
I thought it was weird. It was a weird press conference to me. He wasn't wearing any Bucs gear. I'm curious if that
was pointed out by somebody.
I'm curious if that's because they don't supply you once the season ends. They don't give you, but I know they just have a locker stuff, so it's weird.
No,
Did he come from his house to do the show, or not the show, the press conference? Still would put a hat on. Like, it's just weird. It just felt like he's not decked out in gear, but I get it. Usually when you show up to the facility or doing stuff there, I don't know. It was weird to me. And then the comments seemed more like, I don't know, like public comments. Like he was making comments to the public, to the fans. Like he was, and he even says, I'm not pleading. All I can do is be myself, but I've won 3 division titles. Like it sounded like
I didn't like that.
Messages through the public. It was weird. It didn't add up to me. It just felt uncomfortable. Something about it seemed off. The scheduling of the press conference not happening on a Sunday when they played on Saturday, weird to me. It's later, and it just all seemed off.
I also found it off. Love you, Sasha. I also found it off that I didn't like that dig at the fans. I am allowed to say that, right? Like the flexing of the division titles and stuff. Like there could have been more tact there, if that makes sense. I didn't like that, and I find it awkwardly interesting that he still hasn't met with the Glazers.
Yeah, I wonder if they were just waiting for the whole thing to play out and see what happened, and now they know that everything's closed off, like the closure of the season.
Oh, I get that, but the people that want to see blood, I'm not one of them, contractual.
Dude.
But the people that want to see, like, it's not over yet. I don't think it's over yet, Sammer.
No, we before you got on here, we were kind of talking about what's saying is just like it's not the Glazers take their time. They don't make rash decisions, but they do make decisions, and they make them in a very clear-cut manner. But it's very rare that they fire the guy the very next day after the season's over. I think it's happened. Somebody pointed out in the chat, Dirk, when they fired Dirk, and I know Greg Schiano, they couldn't wait to fire that. That bitch was probably fired at halftime. That was the last.
Even Lovey, who was horrible, was fired on a Wednesday.
Yeah, so they take their time, and again, they're going to meet with him. And in my opinion, this is what's going to happen. This is what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to meet with him. Jason Light will obviously be there. Jason Light will be there.
Stank in the cuck chair in his own podcast room.
It's
this
good.
is a great show now, guys.
So I think what's going to happen, they're going to meet with him, and I think they're going to lay out a scenario for him of, if we decide to keep you on, you'd have these requirements, A, B, C, and D. Special teams coach is gone. Your defensive staff has to be overhauled, and you have to hire a defensive coordinator. You will not call defensive plays, and the offensive coordinator, Josh Gajard, will no longer be here. You will have to partake with Jason Light, and we will hire an offensive coach who will eventually take your job. And I think they will lay this out in a way to make Todd say, no thanks, and leave, and quit, resign, retire, that whole thing. Retire. That's a solid
Did you say
word.
retire at the same time?
Yeah, it's retiring and resigning at the same time.
And resigning at the same time.
Retiring.
Is retiring, like, is that putting like an emphasis on retiring or resigning?
I don't know.
Retire.
I think they put it in a way that allows him the opportunity to bow out gracefully without the egg on his face of being fired. And I think they do that tactfully for a reason. And then they get kind of the end result they want without hurting, the relationship. And because they do value the relationships. And remember how they fired Tony Dungy, in the rain after he said, no, I will not hire another offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And
T-Card didn't work. And Tony fucking Dungy.
And they love him. And he still loves them. Like, there's a very good bond between them. You could sense it in the 50 year the documentary. So that's an important piece to them. They don't like to leave on bad terms, except Greg Schiano. For whatever reason, you could tell that them and Greg, not so.
And Lovey.
And love it, yeah. But they do value that, and they value Todd's relationship with them too. So that's why I think it's not going to be a axe through the fucking neck scenario as much as Bucs fans really fucking want that. But I do think change will come in a good way. One way or the other, it will come in a good way. So
Agreed.
that's my opinion.
Agreed. And listen, whatever ends up happening, there's so much venom, and I get it. It's fresh. It's fresh in his mind. But like, come on, man. We got to show Todd a little bit of love here, man. He did literally send Patrick Mahomes back across in an airplane, go home after scoring 9 points, 0 touchdowns. And I don't want to hear the offensive line was hurt and banged up. What the fuck ever, okay? They ran through everybody in the AFC with that same offensive line.
Yep.
So it just is what it is. I hope one day people can come to appreciate what he did here. It was a masterclass in the Super Bowl. And as a matter of fact, Sam and I talked about this several times. It changed the way the rest of the league approached the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. Literally. So whatever ends up happening, still got to show Todd some love in the end.
I mean,
once you know, cooler heads prevail. Again, whatever happens, I don't know what's going to happen, but if that does happen, once cooler heads prevail, and then time heals all wounds, right? If Greg Schiano can fucking come back on the goddamn raising the flags things, like, fuck, man, come on.
Listen, there's going to be a scenario Todd Bowles is going to be in the Ring of Honor. It's going to happen eventually.
You think so? I don't think so.
Not as a head coach. Not as a head coach. But he will.
The coordinator?
Yeah. I mean, they'll have the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of that Super Bowl winning team. They'll say Todd Bowles' name when he comes out there, and his fans will fucking cheer. Again, he won a Super Bowl 31-9 as defensive coordinator. Like, he'll get his love, man. And it's tough to Latte, because with the contract and all that shit you got going on, it's tough for me to talk about this dude because I talk to him a lot, and like he's really a friend of mine. And he's a good fucking dude, and so it's really tough.
Dude, man.
It's such a tough scenario to get on here and say that somebody I know who I'm friends with should lose their job, and so, but you eventually have to look at it from the unbiased window or glasses or whatever you want to call it, and you have to say what it is what it is. I just don't like crossing personal lines and making it personal, calling a guy an idiot or something. He's clearly not a fucking idiot. So people get on me for not like I'm tap dancing, but no, I think he needs to go for sure. But I'm not gonna sit here and fucking attack the guy, his intellect, his fucking personality. Like none of that shit's.
Wait, are there actual Panthers fans in here talking shit? Keep pounding.
Yeah, there's like 3 of them. There's 3 of them out there.
Are you fucking serious?
They don't have Panther podcasts, so they gotta do something.
The guy that did it quit because your team was so fucking shitty. 1, 2, congrats. You're the champions of the pile of shit fucking division this year. Great job. Go get your shit pushed in by the fucking Rams.
Yeah, good luck with that. The team that you beat, surprisingly, that 1 week, they're coming back, dude. They're coming back. They're getting it back in blood. They're getting it back they're getting it back in blood. I promise you that. Yeah.
And by the way, now you get to taste we get a little bit. You know what I mean? We won the division. Get a shit draft.
Go have fun. Go have fun winning this. Do you know what winning this division is? It's just the fucking who's winning the fucking contest to go get their ass fucked. Like that's what it is.
Literally.
Good for you, I guess.
I'm fine exactly where we are right now.
Yeah, I'm cool not watching
that. Sunny Styles, striking distance, baby. All right, I can't hijack this whole show.
I know.
Thank her.
Well, I got to now.
I love you guys, though. I miss you guys.
Now I got to go get my back brace. I got to carry some more.
Oh, shit.
Now
he said he's got to get his back brace and carry the show some more.
Fucked up, Tamara.
Did you hear what he said? He said, I'm going to go sit in the cook chair. I was
like, Latte.
I just cooked.
I would highly advise when you get back to your car to wash your ears with hand sanitizer.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Why do these things feel so disgusting?
Yeah, they probably feel itchy.
They feel nasty, bro.
They feel itchy.
What is that?
Oh, dude.
There's like fucking ear grease on this shit. What is this shit?
Do they feel
disgusting?
Do they feel
my fucking face?
Do they feel itchy? They feel itchy?
Why are they do feel itchy. They feel a little itchy,
Yeah, dude, go dip your head in some hand sanitizer.
Like when you have like there's adhesive and it's like
Yeah,
that's
dude.
What the fuck?
That's not
Did you come on these? What the? That's disgusting, man. This is bad. I miss you guys too. I miss you, Jace. I miss you all. I miss everyone.
I think there's a super
I'll be
chat
back
at some point. All right, while you do that, while you let Stank take his seat, I'll have Izzy read some super chats because I think I missed a couple.
All right.
There's only one super chat.
Later, guys.
Come back soon, Latte.
Poppy.
Come back soon.
I will be back. Come back soon.
All right, Izzy, super chats, go.
King Sorrowful, $5 super chat. And you actually touched on this. Bowles comments about the fans is insulting. He wants to brag about his titles. 1-3 in the playoffs. If he's not gone, next season is going to be bleak.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, thanks for super chat. I don't know where Stank went. By the way, guys, I will mention we do have a poll up, and I ask, would you fire Todd and hire an offensive head coach, or would you be okay if you keep Todd but force him to hire a new DC and a new OC? So right now it's 76% fire Todd and hire a new offensive head coach. So that makes a lot of fucking sense. I don't know what Stank is if he's coming back anytime soon, but I'm going to roll on. And the next topic, I guess we kind of already touched on this. Yeah, that's stupid. We already touched on it. See, man? Come on, Izzy. All right. The Falcons. I need Stank for this one, man. I kind of need to ask him this one. We'll talk about with you, Izzy. The Falcons fired Raheem Morris. And I don't think people realize how important this is to what the Bucs' decision is going to be. The fact that this is an NFC South team, they fire their head coach, and now they have a leg up on going to interview and possibly hire some of the guys that maybe the Bucs would want to hire or interview at the very least. And now it kind of forces the Bucs to maybe make their decision sooner than they would want to, because you don't want to lose out on a possible, next big thing or the next head coach of this team to a team in your division. Okay? And again, Raheem Morris just won 4 straight games. He's gone. So they're already looking probably to get an offensive head coach because they just went the defensive route. Obviously, he's not the defensive coordinator, but you know what I mean. So it's almost like the Bucs are going to be forced to make this move one way or the other. And I think it'll force them to fire Todd if they really don't want to. I don't think the reports are accurate with that kind of shit. But you just can't let another team in the NFC South possibly take your guy or possibly take the dude who's going to turn their franchise around. It could have been the guy turning our franchise around. Like whether that's Clint Kubiak, whether that's Kaylee with the Houston Texans, whether that's going after a defensive coordinator like Flores up in Minnesota. You just can't allow another team that's in your division and now go and make that move. And not just make that move, but get a leg up on interviewing these guys before you can. I believe they've already requested Clint Kubiak, who's in the playoffs. Will he interview during that? There's tons of ways for him to do that via Zoom. The Bucs have interviewed Clint Kubiak in the past, by the way. So again, if they do have a little bit of a leg up, but I'm pretty sure that Clint Kubiak also interviewed with the Falcons before Raheem Morris was head coach. So there's just a lot of weird things that are going on there, and I hate that another team now in the South is going to go through that same scenario. And I'm hoping that it does rush the process. Maybe you guys in the chat will kind of share some of your thoughts on this. But Izzy, do you want them to rush this process? You think the Falcons could possibly be a team that's going to steal our fucking guy? Or I have this feeling that the Glazers are still going to do their own thing, but I'm hoping that this does push them a little bit.
Honestly, it puts pressure on it's going to put pressure on the Glazers to make a decision. Now, will they allow Todd to go out gracefully is something that we will have to see. But the fact that the Falcons not only got rid of Raheem Morris, but also their GM, Terry Fontenot, if they do go after a guy like Clint Kubiak, they're going to give him the opportunity to go after his own GM and then really build the team that he wants and how he sees it. And that's something that we've seen already happen and has been successful. And do we want that to happen here in the South, especially with the Falcons and the Buccaneers situation? It's rough. It's a rough situation.
I don't know.
It's a rough situation to be a part
of.
Give
the topics 30 more seconds. Have Intern Izzy say something.
No, he can't. Okay? That's the problem, Latte. I just asked him a question.
Bazio's son.
And he said nothing to me.
Well, we do have a super chat. We got a super chat.
Read super chat.
Bucko Biscuit for $4.99. Hope they don't keep Bowles. I feel if they do, Jason's job will be in question when they
Izzy,
fall
take
short
the hoodie
again.
Off. It makes it worse.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Okay. Back to what I was saying. Hope they don't keep Bowles. I feel if they do, Jason's job will be in question when they fall short again next year with Todd. Also, go get Kubiak, please.
Yeah, that's a weird. I don't think Jason's job will be in question if he's doing his job based on his boss. His bosses are the Glazers. So no matter what Jason wants to do, he has to still get approval from his bosses, who are the people cutting the checks. Jason can go out there and be given, carte blanche to, sign players and things like that and make certain moves, but he still at the end of the day has to get approval from the owners. If I'm going to fire this guy who are going to pay his check that he's extended his extension, so they're going to have to pay him that, and who he hires, they play a little bit of a role in that too. So it's hard for me to say that Jason Light will have his feet held to the fire one way or the other when they're the ones who kind of dictate whether he's able to do that or not do that. So I get what they're saying, but that's not really how shit works. A lot of people don't realize that. And some of these other teams like the Falcons, the owner is the guy that's firing the coach and has done, and the general manager has nothing to do with it. Other teams do the same thing. Other teams allow the general manager to make that choice, and eventually they step in and fire the general manager and the head coach if things aren't going right. Jason Light's job is not in jeopardy at all. The Glazers are not looking at him and judging him based on what's happening on the field in any way, shape, or form that's not fair, but they're not looking at what's happening there and saying, oh, this is a lot of Jason's fault. They're, that's why they have these meetings, and that's why they meet with these guys, and that's why they trust Jason a lot more than people realize. He's almost like allowed them to step away from the stuff that they don't know how to do and allow him to be the, that side of the business because they understand what they're not good at. And Jason has earned that right because he's shown that he can do a lot of stuff as it relates to running the Bucs. And I think at some point he might be elevated to like a team president scenario because of how good he is at that. And he's built a fucking phenomenal staff in the front office. All these things play into all that shit. So I saw a question here that I did want to answer in the chat too. An offensive-minded head coach would pick the Bucs over any other team with all the weapons we have. Makes his job easier. Yes, Cody's right. Any offensive coordinator who's going to be going through these interviews this cycle sees the Bucs team, if it's an open job, as a fucking gold mine of fun for them. Think about it. I mean, let's say Mike Evans doesn't return. You still have a Chris Godwin, Emeka Egbuka, Jalen McMillan, Tez Johnson. You have Bucky. Rashad's gone for sure. And you have all-pro left tackle. You have an all-pro type right tackle. You have a right guard who's right up there in the conversations for top, one of the top 5 guards in the NFL, and Cody Mock. And then you got a Graham Barton who could be something at guard or could get another shot at center based on coaches. There's opportunities.
Wait till you hear what I just heard about UPS's stock. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Wow.
All
anyway,
right, I'll talk to you later.
Anyway, yeah, so
real quick.
This offensive roster is extremely attractive to a potential head coach who's an offensive coordinator. It's even an offensive coordinator interviewing as an offensive coordinator. Like, I'm not worried about the attractiveness of this job at all, even with the defensive, problems that we have. And we're only a few players away on that side of being a team that has a really good roster. And we have a lot of good fucking young talent on that side too. You could argue we just need a linebacker and a fucking edge rusher, and we have a lot of the pieces there to creatively compete if you have an innovative and smart defensive coordinator who can put things in more of a modern era.
You can't get out that way.
This guy. I don't think Stank even knows what's happening on
I don't think he knows what we're talking about.
No.
He's trying. I think he.
I'm moving on.
He jumped my fence to get into my fucking.
There's no way. No,
compound.
He jumped through it cartoon style where it just showed the outline of his body like this. There's no way he jumped over anything, dude. Come on.
That's hilarious.
What the fuck? Hey, and don't fucking dog my headphones, all right? These are vintage.
Yeah, man.
The vintage?
They're vintage.
Yeah.
Young Swag 555 says Sammer, he can't keep hoarding his draft capital though. I've seen him move stuff around, man. You have to ask yourself, if he's not moved draft capital to bring guys in, how much does he truly believe in the staff that's here at that point? Or if he's looking at it in a different lens than what a fan would look at it. Also, it takes two to tango.
Sammer, everybody knows you're not going to say anything bad about Jason, all right? But me and Jason, we have a history. Okay, he's threatened to beat me up every time I see him.
I've been critical in it.
Every time I see him, he physically assaults
because he
me.
doesn't like you.
Right. You know what? So I'll speak plainly. He's got to do better.
I've said he's got to do better. Last week we said the same thing.
Hassan Reddick Shoenka, complete miss.
He's gone.
It's a miss. It's a miss. And not that I'm here to defend Todd Bowles. I think he should be fired. I don't like his conservatism. I don't like how scared he coaches. I don't like any of that. He definitely has one or two hands tied behind his back. Your friend, who you talk to all the time, Burger McFarland, it was the first one to say weeks ago.
Burger McFarland?
Burger McFarland. Okay. Smash Burger McFarland.
That's not
Burger McFarland. I like
he
it.
needs to open up a burger chain called Burger McFarland.
Yeah. No one would go there.
I would. But anyways, even he's like, Todd can't do much. No defensive coordinator is going to be able to do much if you can't get there with 4. And there's a big talent gap in the front 7 outside of the Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey. And I still believe Yaya can be a player, but the depth, the rotation, the hockey shift, those guys back there, Braswell was a miss. You know, they just need to add an influx of talent there so that anybody who's calling defensive plays can at least have a chance. I don't like Todd's conservatism. I don't, a lot of what he does doesn't make sense to me. So,
but Stank,
that being said,
my thing is when things go wrong, okay, and things are going to go wrong in an NFL season for your team, whether it's injuries, guys making mistakes over and over and over again, there are going to be problems that arise in an NFL season. Good young NFL coaches who are innovative have creative problem solutions. Like that's the thing. They can problem solve in creative manners. You see Kyle Shanahan. He problem solves any issue that comes up on that offensive side of the ball. Saleh, the defensive coordinator for the Niners, does the same thing. You look at McDonald, same thing with he's defensive coordinator and the head coach of the Seahawks, same thing. McVay, phenomenal. He goes into 13 personnel, says, fuck it, I'm going to just dominate out of 13 3 fucking tight ends on the goddamn field, and he's still fucking dropping 40 points on these guys with one wide receiver running routes. That's creative problem solving. Todd Bowles has shown that he cannot solve the problems. He's a good defensive coordinator when he's got all the pieces. But that's a very rare scenario that plays out. The healthiest teams win the Super Bowl most of the time. We won the Super Bowl because we were the healthiest on that side of the ball. It just happened. But you have to be able to solve a problem when it comes up, when it's not an ideal situation. It's very rare you're going to have the ideal scenario with everything on your platter ready to roll. That doesn't happen outside of week 1, and even then it doesn't happen. So that's my biggest thing and I don't really necessarily think he's not aggressive like some people say. I think he has some hand tied behind his back, but if your hand is tied behind your back and you can't solve that problem, then you're not equipped to be that guy anymore. And I think that's just simply what it is. Because the guys don't believe in it. They definitely don't believe in it. I will tell you this off the record, on the record, I can't drop it. They do not believe in it. That's a problem.
I know they don't believe in it because he doesn't believe in it. He doesn't believe in the depth. He doesn't believe that we can withstand a pass rush with Graham Barton as our center and the patchwork guards that we had and the musical. Like, we just didn't have true, real answers. They did well enough. We should still have been able to score 27 points a game, even with what we had out there.
Yeah, on accident.
And they went into a shell. They went into a fucking shell. And anytime they had a 10-point lead, they shelled the fuck up. And you can't do that in the NFL. There's too much time. We give them the ball at the 35 every fucking time. Too easy to score points too quickly in this league. And that conservative play doesn't work. When you can't count on your run game and you're too scared to throw the fucking football, and you got a quarterback out there who's trying to play Captain Saberho at times and makes mistakes.
On top of that,
probably should be a little bit more careful with the football. It's a recipe for disaster. And Todd got shell shocked as a motherfucker and wasn't willing to come out of the bunker. And for that alone, that the last 9 games where we lost 7 and won 2, that's on him. That's on him. That's that conservative shit.
We're saying
ended up costing us games.
I think the other thing too, which is really damning for the head coach, is that not one game in 17 attempts, not one game were you able to play complementary football and actually play a full team game. Not one. Not one. When the offense was playing well, the defense wasn't. And even just from quarter to quarter, they would take turns as units to play because they just could never play together. And even like the Seattle Seahawks game, we won that game. The offense played amazing, but it needed Baker Mayfield to play the literal definition of a perfect game. just to win on a fluke-tipped interception at the end. If we don't pick that ball off, in what fucking scenario do any of us even believe that the Seahawks aren't going to go down the field and fucking score a touchdown?
Yeah.
We all knew what was happening. I mean, they were moving the ball. So even in that best game of the season, it still wasn't good. The next game was the Niners game. And that game, we kind of almost lost too. Even though we did win it by 2 scores, it never felt good. And I'm telling you, people in that locker room during that game were like, what the fuck is really going on around here? And then the special teams problems, week in and week out. If one thing on the special teams worked, the other 2 didn't. And vice versa. They just all took turns within the unit sucking ass. All that shit you can't pretend is not on the head coach. Because at some point you could say, fuck the fucking special teams coordinator. The Rams fired their guy at like week 13.
Sammer, and if we know that and we feel that, the guys in the locker room feel the same
They
way.
100% feel it.
They can absolutely take Todd Bowles' back, and I'm sure they love the guy. And we talked about before I had to go sit in the cuck chair, how, being too nice and building that safe space inside the locker room has caused some complacency. That can't be that, man. That can't be. I'm sorry. And he's allowed that to happen. It's on his neck ultimately. And, that's why you get paid the big bucks. What's going to happen between now and the end of the week, or now in the next 2 weeks, or whenever the Glazers ultimately decide? I don't know. We've heard some things. I'll say that. But I've heard some things in the past, and people come at me like, oh, you said, I don't fucking know, bro. People whisper tea, but I can tell you right now, my people, they don't talk. They don't talk.
Hey, listen, I've said this, the Glazers don't have leaks. And if you ever hear anything about if you ever hear anything about the Glazers or their decisions or what their thoughts are, that means they've allowed those things to go out there for a reason.
Yeah.
And that most of the time, this whole, there's smoke, there's fire. No. With the Glazers, where there's smoke, there's somebody pretending to light a fucking fire. That's what I've learned historically with that team, with this team, with this ownership group. That's just how they work. So, but before I move on this topic, Stink, I will ask you point blank, straight up, give me like 2 seconds of this. Falcons fired Raheem. And I feel that this, because they're an NFC South team, will impact the Bucs' decision, whether they wanted to fire Todd or not. I believe it speeds up this decision possibly and makes their decision happen sooner because of the fact that there's now an NFC South team that's also going to be jumping into the same pool of candidates and possibly stealing what could be your next big guy for the next 10 years, and by making it their fucking next guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to put a little bit of fire under them, unless they have, some kind of crazy game plan to land a big fish that nobody's talking about, like they've done in the past, and that they're willing to pay for, trade for, even though you can't do that anymore. Willing to go outside of the norm and find a guy they really like. I don't know though. I don't know who that. I can't even think about who that might be.
Why do you think they can't trade for a coach still? They can still do that.
I don't think you can trade draft picks for a coach anymore. I think that stopped after the Gruden trade. I'm pretty sure you can't trade. You can't do that anymore. I think you can pay money, but you can't trade draft commodity anymore.
What if they could trade Todd Bowles for money?
I think they'd be frowned upon. Yeah.
That'd be frowned upon.
I don't know. I don't think that'd be.
Last topic, man.
I think it'd go over very well.
Last topic.
We're already on the last topic. What happened in my show?
Yeah, we flew through it, man.
What time is it?
Listen, we're 48 minutes deep, bro. Pay attention. Today, news comes out, and a lot of players off the record, by the way. Yaya on the record for whatever reason. I guess this guy, no one told him, hey, dude, don't say this on the record. But defensive players came out today and made comments behind the fucking veil of the not on the record type scenario that the Bucs practices were a problem, that they didn't like the fact that the Bucs had too many walkthrough practices, especially down the stretch run, and that they think that leads directly to what looked like bad football on their side of things, guys missing assignments, being late, that bad angles, all this kind of stuff. And that doesn't bode well for Todd Bowles. It's actually really damning to hear your defensive players say that stuff. And the fact
to
that
me, what Dean said is far worse. That's a guy who's been in this defense for 7 years.
Yeah,
that was far worse than what Yaya said to me. They think they know what's happening, and then when the Bulls start flying, they're not prepared. Oops. Yeah, and that's fucking 1,000% accurate.
Damning. There's something wrong, man. There's something going on there. But
listen, bro. I know. Listen, I hate to pat myself on the back. I've got some coaching experience. Everybody knows. Pop Warner, maybe even a little bit of high school defensive coordinator, JV, and assistant on defensive on varsity. I know a thing or two. Okay, it's not that complicated. All right, it's really, you don't need to make it that complicated. All right, so I'm, me and Todd are peers. Me and him have talked X's and O's before. So I don't know why, if you're struggling and your guys can't comprehend it, and you're still trying to do whatever the fuck it is you're doing back there, but it continues to fail, how you're not going to simplify for these guys. It just doesn't make any sense.
Some of the problems, though, that they're happening is stuff you learn in high school. But when that happens, like when I just a basketball analogy, when I coach kids basketball and they start doing the things that they know how to do well, they start doing them wrong. That tells me that I've now introduced something that's making them think. And when they start to think, now they start questioning themselves and they don't rely on just the instincts of what you've taught them in the past. So when you see a safety who knows how to play cover two all of a sudden take bad angles or is late to the ball, or you see a corner who should know cover two since fucking high school decide that he's just going to start jumping routes and not paying attention, some of that is discipline, but some of that is they're thinking too much instead of just playing ball. And that means that now you're taking over their fucking instincts. And I agree with you. How do you go through that for 7 weeks and not make it at 3-week period? Why are you not making a change? Why are you not like, there has to be something there. And then the comments they made specifically about walkthrough practices being a problem. I'm curious if Todd Bowles is calling these walkthrough practices because of how injured these guys are always fucking getting banged up, not having all these full guys, or if that's simply just saying my defense needs mental reps versus physical reps, and that's what's more important. I need you guys to understand the mental side of it. But Yaya said one thing. He goes, mental reps matter, but I'm a physical player. I need to feel it and be out there physically getting physical reps in a physical game of football for it to really sink in. And I bet you a majority of those guys, if not every single one of them, would say I'd rather do physical reps than mental reps because I have to feel it out there in space. That's why the Bucs look like they miss tackles a lot. They're late identifying things. They're slow to get in their spots. They let guys just, like Levante David, he knows how to play zone. Why would he just let a tight end into a spot and fucking let him go? That's unheard of for a guy like that.
Yeah, but you saw after that play, he looked directly at Savasi and was like,
oh, no, I'm talking about a different play. I'm talking about a totally different play. But that play, Dennis did the same thing. He just let a guy fucking go. Levante just stood there with his hand on his hip, just looking at Savasi like, dude, are you fucking dumb? Like, what the fuck are you even thinking? That's, again, I agree with Yaya. You got to play physical football, man, in practice. You have to physically have a practice. You can't walk through. And if guys get injured, then guys get fucking injured. You have to take the chance of that look.
Yeah, and Sam, we've heard that for weeks, right? They talk about this, this imaginary guy in the locker room who's just not getting it. Like everybody's alluded to somebody.
It's all of them.
Right. It's gotta, we've heard this. It's gotta mean mean a lot to you guys. You gotta want it. Who the fuck are they talking about? Right? Are they talking about somebody specifically? Are they talking about in general, the mentality on defense? Whatever it is, it's stunk. And Todd can't gauge the temperature on his own fucking football team because they needed to play with that desperate energy. Not in the last week of the season, when we backed into a win against a bad Carolina Panthers football team. It needed to happen well before that. At the bye, he should have known, hey man, what I'm doing right now isn't enough. And I'm willing to get ran, but maybe we get some momentum and these guys start playing and they start playing hungry and feasting out there, and playing physical and all that shit. So I mean, this all still ultimately falls on Todd, man. I can't deal with his philosophy.
He should have benched guys. This is the biggest thing. Like people think this is not.
Dennis should have been benched.
This is not high school football. You could no, it's not. But you know what, man? If you have a linebacker out there who's making mistakes and other guys around him are looking at him and saying, "What the fuck, dude?" You have to show the players that you give a fuck about them and not just the one. Zion McCollum should have been benched, even if it's just for a half, even if it's just for a quarter. Bench him. Instead, you're playing rotational fun games with fucking Benjamin Morrison and Jamel Dean, who's playing well. Instead of saying, hey, Zion, I'm going to make you sit because you're not showing me that you give a fuck. Like that. And then I'm with you, Stank. Gerald McCoy alluded to it. A couple of other guys have said stuff and try not to say things. There's a guy or two or three on that defensive side of the ball that doesn't care. There's something in that locker room that is causing an issue. I don't think it's on the offensive side of the ball. I think the offensive guys all have a problem with Josh Guzard, just my opinion. But I think on the defensive side, there's somebody on that defense that's given them the Devin White me scenario. And I don't know who. I really can't, because they really don't all seem to, any one of them seems to be that type of guy. There's somebody on that team that just does not give a fuck. It's not Levante, not Antoine, it's not Ty Key. Like, we can kind of deduce who it may or may not be.
Vita.
It's not Vita. It's definitely not Kalijah. He ain't playing enough games. Logan Hall looks like he's trying hard, whether he makes plays or not. Greg Gaines, I could argue, doesn't give a fuck. He's not a starter, so they wouldn't say shit about a guy like that. Is it Hassan Reddick? Is it Hassan Reddick? They had, remember the game where Vita and Antoine were kind of yelling at him as they were coming off the field, and he was kind of arguing with them? Is it Hassan Reddick? I don't think it's Yaya, because he gives a lot of effort. I don't think it's any of the corners.
I think it's Savassier.
Maybe Savassier, maybe.
I think the guy they're talking about is Savassier.
I think it's Hassan Reddick. I honestly think it's Hassan Reddick.
I mean, he's known to have that fuck you type attitude. And, you know, maybe if he's carrying that in the locker room, it's just kind of being like, I'm here. You know, he figured out real quick his defense doesn't have it, and he's just there to collect a paycheck and not taking it seriously and absolutely not trying to take any kind of leadership role on this football team. Could be fucking Hassan.
I mean, he's gone, so that really ultimately solves that issue. He's definitely
heads are going to roll.
Logan Hall is gone regardless, unless somehow nobody offers him a contract and we can get him for fucking cheap. I won't mind him as a rotational piece, but it's either Zion McCollum, because he did just get paid. So I'm curious if it's like goddamn, did he pay this guy? He didn't give a fuck. You're not even benching him. So it could be Zion. Like, we're going to play the art of deduction here. It could be Zion. It could be Hassan Reddick. I have a feeling it is Hassan Reddick. But it's weird to me that you don't have anyone on that side of the ball that can say something directly to this human being, as opposed to playing this game through the media or comments here and there, tweets that get deleted, things like that. I don't like that kind of shit.
That's because they have the kumbaya locker room, man.
Exactly. They don't have the Warren Sapp. I'm afraid.
They don't.
I'm afraid.
They don't. And they don't have a guy like 12 in the locker room who can be, you know, that real dick. And again, love Baker, but Baker's got to be that guy. He's got to be the asshole. He can't be everybody's friend. He just can't. I'm sorry. Everybody likes to be liked and cheered on, but you got to be that dick too. You know, if you're going to be here for the long run, which I think you will be, I think he's got to take a bigger role in that locker room, as this is his fucking football team. And so maybe you do need to call out a guy, even if it is on the defense. If there's a rivalry and they don't like you and you don't like them, good. Well, you know, we saw that when Gruden got here. He pinned the defense and the offense against each other. Maybe that needs to fucking happen.
I don't know if he would be privy to what they're talking about if you're not in that walkthrough practice.
He talks to everybody.
I know, but how would he see it? I'm saying, where a defensive player who knows what that guy's responsibility is, they could see if he's loafing. You know what I mean?
You don't see if you don't think Tristan knows, and Luke knows, and
Tristan and Luke knows? Yeah, those guys would know it. Yeah,
they know, and those are Baker's best friends. They know. Everybody knows who they're talking about.
Maybe he knows it through the grapevine. Is what you're implying?
He does know it through the grapevine. I think everybody knows, and ultimately, you're going to see that guy won't be here next year, even if Todd is back. Clearly. You know, there's going to be a massive changeover in personnel, even if he's here. Will he be here? Fuck if I know, bro. I really don't. I don't know.
Yeah. So we have a poll, Stink, and I don't know if you paid attention to this when you got jumped in here. The poll was asking, would you, 1, fire Todd and hire an offensive head coach, or 2, keep Todd and hire a new defensive coordinator and a new offensive coordinator, basically taking that away from Todd and making him just a manager of this staff. Obviously, it's 74% says fire and Todd and just hire an offensive head coach. I only asked this tweet or this poll because you had tweeted earlier that you don't want Todd back, and although that's not your ideal scenario for him to return, you would only be okay with it if they take defensive play calling away from him and they hire a defensive coordinator to install an actual different defense that maybe can utilize the pieces without having to go wholesale changes from a 3-4 to a 4-3 or whatever, and an offensive coordinator. I'm like you. I don't think he should be back. But if he does come back, that would be the only scenario. But with one more added caveat. The offensive coordinator is basically the next man in line if he performs well enough, and Todd has to sign off on that. That no matter how successful they are, he's gone. I mean, here's my thinking. No guy would say yes to that scenario. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if the defense is his baby. He's not going to say yes to that scenario. And that's almost a nice way of just pushing him out. Letting him resign.
People in the comments were right. what hot offensive coordinator is going to come into that scenario, knowing that he's got a coach that potentially is going to get fired next year? You know, there are other.
But you get the job. You get the
there
job.
are other positions out there. There are other
But you
teams out
get
there
the
that are
job,
looking for
Stan.
coaches.
You get to take
Okay.
that job.
But we're not the only team trying to fill those positions.
I get
is
it.
my
I
point.
get it. I get it. I get it. I'm just saying,
So-
if I'm a guy like Nate Shielhaus who hasn't had a chance to call plays, and you have a chance to go to this type of offensive roster that's loaded and essentially work on my craft, and if I'm good enough at the end of that year, I might have a chance. That's a good opportunity.
I'm done with the haven't called plays, guys. By the way,
I agree with you. I wish. I think the biggest regret they will look back at is that they didn't hire a guy like that to get his feet wet now. Because then maybe he shows enough. And you say, you know what? We've got to move on from Todd. But we have found a gem who's just gotten a whole year under his belt. And maybe Mike loves him and Baker loves him. And these guys will all return. And now we've got our guy. We've got our other version of Liam, right? But they don't have that because they went a different route. So now they got to go pluck somebody who's called plays for the first time from like the Texans, who.
But
again,
that's not
comes from the
Todd's
same
fault,
scenario.
by the way. That falls on
It's
Jason.
on both of their faults, yeah.
Yeah,
Both of them.
Jason needed to see the writing on the wall with Liam way ahead of time and have somebody in there potentially, if they're going to play that game, which they ended up losing, you know, where they're going to try to, you know, have their cake and eat it too and try to keep Todd, but then also keep Liam. And it almost worked. And Liam said yes. And then snaked us. But whatever, you know, you can't go back on that. They needed to have a guy in the pipe, having lost your offensive coordinator the year before, knowing that that's potential if you hire another guy that he's going to be out the door, not having a guy in wait, you know, to be there to you know, piggyback on play calling to get him ready to take that seat just in case. That's an organizational thing. They needed to do that. And that's the problem with having a defensive head coach. You're going to get plucked. They're going to take your talent away. And they're going to continue to do that even if Todd is here next year and we get a guy. You know, you just don't know. You don't know if that guy is ultimately going to say one thing and do another. You don't.
Ultimately,
So
you don't. But if you go to them way before things like, hey, listen, this obviously hasn't worked out for the whole team. We see what you're doing. Todd is like, if you're an offensive coordinator, like say Nate Shielhaus, okay, you're getting a chance. You're not going to get a head coach call right now, but you have a chance here, and you're going to say, I'm going to bet on Todd being Todd, and we may not win games, but I'm going to fucking do what Liam did. I'm going to drop 30 fucking points a game and see what happens. And you know what? At that point, I'm going to bet on myself. You know what? If I don't get that particular job, I'll go get another job, right? Liam did it. Dave somehow did it. I still don't agree with that whole
But
thing.
why play that game?
You don't,
If you're
but
the-
I'm
if you're
saying
the
if you
Glazers-
are that guy, no, I
Yeah.
get it. I know what you're saying. I think it's just, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that while they do value the relationship with Todd, there's
What are
no
you
way
trying
they're
to
going to do
save?
that.
What are you trying to save? The locker room chemistry?
I'm
Fuck
agreeing
that.
with you. That's
that.
gone out the window. Last year, the
Yeah.
scenario painted would make more sense. I agree with you. This year, it's already gone. Like, to keep him because of that, those reasons are now, they're crossed off. And now you have to look at him as a defensive coordinator and a guy who's been able to solve problems or not solve problems, and he can't solve problems. So,
Yeah, if you're the
He's
Glazers
gotta
and you
go.
were just part of that, my documentary, the 50th anniversary documentary, you know the history, you know it because you were a part of it. You brought Dungy in and ultimately had bring Gruden in to get us over the top. You saw what an offensive guy in BA did to this locker room. You understand that having that guy with the offensive mind in that chair who's got a bit of a fucking dick side to him is the recipe. And so yes, you had to make a move and transition because Tom Brady fucked your old head coach and Todd got thrust into that position. And then we were able to kind of, you know, rebuild and retool a little bit and still win this terrible division the last 3 years. But I don't think long-term, that's probably what they would have done had they had the time to make a decision and choose. Now, whether it's now or next year, that's likely going to be the move. I completely agree. We're not going to have a defensive head coach ever again after this, or at least
for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to
I think they're gonna meet with Todd. They're gonna talk to Todd and kind of go through everything that went on in the season and give honest feedback. Jason's gonna be in that room giving honest feedback, and they're gonna, I think, paint him into a corner where he gets a chance to gracefully retire or resign. And if he doesn't take that route, I think they ultimately fire him. And I think they're gonna do their best to give him a shot at just kind of stepping away. And I think they are going to be tactful with this. And I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to fire him because I think he's going to see the writing on the walls and just say, no, I'm not going to, I will not coach here if I'm not the guy doing the defense. And I think they're going to allow him to kind of see the writing on the wall kindly and saying, well, we want to keep you, but you got to do this, that, and the other. And he says, nah, I don't do it that way. Well, and then they'll let him kind of say goodbye on his own without embarrassing him. I think that's ultimately
I
what's going to
think
happen.
once they do have the exit meetings and they and Yaya gets in front of Jason Light and
They're gonna-
the
he's gonna
Glazers
say
and the
things, yeah.
Glazers, and then the other players sit in the room with
And say things.
Jason Light and the Glazers, and they're saying the same thing, and you're starting to hear, well, we should have been doing this, and they're all like questioning Todd's philosophy. How the fuck are you going to then, in good conscience, put those guys back in that same situation next year and expect different results? At that point, then you're right. Then the focus needs to be on Jason Light.
100%.
Then we got to start questioning: is he allowed to make the decisions he needs to, or are the Glazers fucking neutering him, or whatever? At that point, you have to start asking bigger questions. I will say that, and I'd love to get Jason on here later and ask him. I doubt he'll be completely frank about it, but it'd be interesting to hear that conversation. That's for sure.
I don't know how much he'll say. But
On camera,
yeah, but I know for sure. Like I said, when you were not here, and it was just me talking to Izzy for some reason, that the Glazers really respect Jason, and they like him running the majority of the football.
what do you mean,
stuff.
bro? We were talking about UPS.
They trust.
All right.
They trust him a lot. So
He was giving me a lot of information about what's going on at UPS. That's important right now.
I know. I agree.
So,
We have a couple voicemails. I don't know if I really.
I'm
wanna
sure
listen
that
to
these
them.
are just. I do.
They're not. I don't think
They're
they're
not
great.
nice. You know what? They deserve. They deserve
only
a chance to bust a load. Do it.
I know
Only
that
two?
we questioned if Caleb, I believe, or someone who called in, we questioned if he had jumped off of a bridge after his phone call. He did call in and tell us that he did not. He is fine.
Okay, that's good.
And we now have I don't know. This one says a new caller. Let Sammer hear this. Let's listen in.
I'm tired.
That's
I'm
it.
fucking tired.
Oh, okay.
How dare you? How fucking dare you take me through this pain? Take me through all these losing streaks, all the embarrassment on prime time. After every game, we shit the fucking bed. But you win the last one? So we don't take any benefits from that fucking pain that we went through? So we don't get any benefits? So we just lost to lose? And that's it? We miss out on someone like Sonny Styles or David Bailey? So we could go to a playoff game and get dicked down?
We're not going to play for him though.
You were not.
Fuck
yeah.
this shit.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles is not going anywhere. Y'all are stupid if you think he is.
Whoa.
It was already up in the air whether we lost or won, and we fucking won. He's staying. Josh Grizzard, maybe. Kate Otten's staying. He's getting fucking signed. You saw how he played. Yeah.
He
His
is,
franchise is fucked. I hope the Falcons win. They're our only chance. Fuck the Saints.
He basically already assumed we were in the playoffs when he made that.
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. I don't. You believed actually more than you should have.
He was way too optimistic.
No Evan and no Cody.
He
it
might have
says.
been. He might have been crying. That's okay, bro. It's okay to cry when your team does these things to you. All right. That's what my therapist told me, anyways.
Here's Caleb.
Well, the suffering is over. Really disappointing end to the season. A lot of reports seeming to back Bowles. Really difficult to know what to believe.
None of it.
Again, I don't look at this team super pessimistically going into the future, but I will if the offseason looks like the changes they're alluding to are nothing. Positional coaching, that's not enough. I don't want Bowles to stay. No desire to see him stay. There's no upside. And the only way I would be okay with him staying is you replace the defensive coordinator, which is him. You get a new special teams coordinator, and you get a new offensive coordinator. So, I mean, why not get a new head coach? It's been really frustrating. You know, I think there's a lot up in the air. People are all out on Baker all over the place. I just don't get it. I mean, do people not watch every snap of the season? Like, yeah, Baker had some glaring mistakes, but it's like every mistake from him is magnified by 1,000 because their offense sucks. They can't move the ball. There's nobody else who can do anything. We don't even use the players we have. Emeka Egbuka, I don't even know if he's a good player anymore, which is crazy to say. He looked like Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I can see his talent early. Now he looks like he's Sterling Shepard running around out there.
Wow.
A lot hangs in the balance. I really just think
Stray. It's a Sterling Shepard stray for no reason.
Yeah,
I've said it all year. Josh Grizzard is the worst element of this team because it's an offensive league, and the offense has been atrocious. So he's 100% got to be out the door. And I don't know what'll happen. So we'll see. I think this team is still close. It's a good draft and a good free agency away from being, a much better defense. And the offense, we all know what it can do. But goodness, man, if Mike leaves, obviously Lavante's probably gone. It's not good. It's not a great situation. I just hope that quickly, promptly, tomorrow, we see a lot of information Monday about the coaches that are fired. And hopefully they make some great hires. And hopefully these things get turned around.
That didn't happen. You listen, I think the fans are broken. 2 voicemails, completely like
think about Stank. Right how many times are you gonna call in over a 9-week period and say the exact same thing every fucking Monday? We've done the same show 6 weeks in a row at this point. Think about that. Last week I could have played the show before that, and it would have been the exact correct response to the game. We could have done the Miami Dolphins show. We could have done we could have done the Atlanta Falcons show 3 straight weeks in a row, and they would have just all applied.
No, there was nothing positive outside of Levante, fumble recovery, and then you're still like, damn, dude, we just kind of wasted your final season too, and we went out and just the saddest of ways. Hope I don't know.
I'm hoping that he's got a nagging injury we don't know about that slowed him down.
Well, we know 4 weeks ago he had an injury. He wasn't even practicing during the week. He was injured for sure.
I'm hoping that it's that, and he's saying, what, I got one more. I just need, if they, put pieces around him where he's not doing everything. We saw Derek Brooks, who was slow, make it work for a whole year and look good still.
If you got a chance to make one more tackle and be the all-time leading tackler.
Yeah, wouldn't you take that just on that alone?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it in him to be like, you know what? I'm good with being tied. And ending it.
I don't think so. Nobody wants to be tied, but it's also super respectful. Like I didn't pass the greatest, but I tied him.
He said it was fitting.
It's like a perfect little. I get to show him respect, but I didn't want to step on it.
It's weird that they ended up with the same amount of tackles. That's weird. That's
that's what I'm saying. I think it's like a really nice show of respect of like, hey, you were the best this team's ever fucking franchise. So if he comes back,
is he like Derek? I'm better. This record's mine.
It'd be disrespectful. You're right. But Derek would be the first one to say, go get it, kid. Go get it. But it's just really fitting to be like, I ended my career tied with Derek Brooks, who is considered the best Buccaneer of all time. And I look up to him like he's the guy. He's the GOAT, right? And so for you to tie the GOAT, that's like, hell yeah. I don't want to pass him up. I want him to still be the guy people talk about. But now you just got my name next to it. That's all. That's
we've had a couple super chats here too. I don't think you read.
We had Crown 8. He just popped one off. Syrian Knight 84 for about $5. The effing nerve for Todd to brag about winning the division 3 straight years in the worst division in football is mind-numbing. I'm over his shit. And then Crown 8, $5. We are out on the coaching staff, not on players. This core has at least 2 deep playoff runs before it ages out into a rebuild. We're wasting it right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, core, you're eventually going to lose Mike, and Levante's probably done. So certain guys are already pretty much at the end of the rope, and then you've got other guys who have Super Bowl rings. Who you can build this team around, including Baker Mayfield, who I still absolutely fucking believe in. But they've got to add a lot more pieces to the puzzle. There's more than enough fucking offensive pieces.
The offense that's even is what missing a guard or a center is basically what I think.
Yeah. You don't have to go too far to make that the identity of this football team and start to add, some real absolute fucking dogs to the defensive side of the ball. And by the way, we have the 15th pick, but doesn't mean we need to stay there. We could fucking trade down to 6 to get the best pass rush. I don't fucking know, bro, but whatever they got to do. And I'm sure you guys talked about this because when I jumped back on, I heard you guys, talking a little bit about that. Whatever they got to do, they got to add true meaningful pass rushers to this football team. Rebuild the linebacking core and get some. They have a chance depth on this football team.
They have a chance to turn the free agency focus into nothing but defense. Outside of maybe a guard
and a
center, somebody like that, and you go have a tough conversation with Graham. But you got Cody Mock, you got Tristan Wirfs, you got Luke Gedeke. You got Graham, who's either a guard or center. Ben Bredesen, who could be a guard or center. I don't know if Ben's coming back. He's a little long in the tooth, coming off of an injury knee. He's a heavier guy. He might probably be done. So now you're looking at basically figuring out 2 positions on the offensive line, and that's really it. They've got everything else figured out, even if Mike isn't back, which I do think he will be back. By the way.
I think he's coming back.
Yeah, but like you had that whole thing is. So do you just really need to go out there and on the defensive side and just check off some boxes? You know, I'm not a big fan of the big free agency splash signing, but Nakobe Dean is not going to be one of those guys that is a failure type of signing because he's proven he can play. And he's a younger guy, and you absolutely need him. You don't have a guy at all in that spot. You're not going out there and signing, the best pass rusher and overpaying because most of the time those don't work out. You're not doing it with the cornerback position, same thing. So you got to go out there and shore up some of these fucking issues on defense, man. Like the front 7 just has nobody that anyone gives a shit about at all.
No, and the depth behind it.
And Vita Vea, I'm not sorry. I'm not saying Vita Vea is shitty, but I'm sure Vita Vea would look a lot better if he had some guys around him that knew what the fuck they were doing on top of him.
Absolutely, he would.
He can't carry that whole front 7. It's just not possible. It's just too easy to key in on him. And I talked a lot of shit about him last week, but I know he's that fucking good player and he's got enough around him. But right now he's playing with dog shit around him. And Kalijah Kancey came back and you saw the difference. Kalijah Kancey made a fucking massive difference in that run game. All of a sudden we're stopping guys. All of a sudden there's nobody running through the fucking gap. So get some edge rushers, get a linebacker, and this team's right there, man. So they're not off like people keep fucking saying. And people are just like to cry in their fucking milk or whatever it is. Or soup. Is that whatever the fuck it is? Cereal? I don't know what it is. Either way, I'm with you, man.
What is it? Crying or something?
Crying your soup? Crying in your sandwich?
Izzy.
Crying in your nachos. It's crying in your nachos. 100%.
Help us out here, Izzy.
It's definitely cry in your nachos.
He's asleep.
I like crying in your nachos. We're going to go with that.
Okay. All right. That's fine.
I think that's what it is. Oh, stinks. Season's over, man. I'm glad it's over. Take a deep breath,
It's
man.
going to take me a little time to get this taste out of my mouth. We'll see how the playoffs shake out and what ends up happening here with this coaching staff. Until we get a definitive answer, he's staying, he's going, I'm probably going to still feel this way.
I will say this before we leave the show. Stay tuned because over the next few days, we will have an announcement of a defensive player. A prominent defensive player will be on the show with us.
Yeah.
And we're going to ask him some questions. And you guys can listen and deduce what you want from whatever he says at that point. And you guys know we ask some questions. We don't care. And we're just hanging out, obviously. But I think it'll be interesting to see what he says. For sure.
This player found us.
Found us.
He did. He came. Usually we're going to guys and be like, hey, man, when are you going to get on the pod? He was like, when are you going to have me on the pod? He's ready to talk. And he's one of the pieces that you build this defense around.
And you know what? Everyone, there's no secret. I'm pretty good friends with Rashad. Rashad wants to come on the show and kind of shoot the shit with us too. Even though he's no longer a Buccaneer.
He is
no longer a Buccaneer. So we will have unfiltered Rashad White joining the show. Maybe this week.
that is a you cannot miss that show.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
He has absolutely nothing to lose.
He's an unrestricted free agent. He can say, post, tweet, whatever the fuck he wants. And there's no repercussions really, other than making it seem like you don't want to look like you're one of those guys that complains after, because then it hurts your chances with other teams. But we're going to get unfiltered Rashad White, which I think will be fun to listen to. So
yeah, I think so too.
I think we'll learn some things with both of these interviews that we're going to have. So we'll be announcing that shortly, soon, sometime this week. So Stank.
Samer.
8-9, 2025. We were way off on our record predictions. I still think that if they listened to me, my record prediction would have been very accurate. But they didn't listen to me. I'm going to give you the chance to close out the season with either some words of wisdom or just one word. Just one word that sums up the 2025 Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
8-9.
It's kickoff, set it off, go to to Vegas, bet it all. Put it on the Bucs win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all. Loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start. Bucs come in 40 hard. Win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats. Falcons got bird flu. Take the rate.